Some good news in an otherwise depressing economic season took place in Mississauga this week when Syntex opened their new plant at Highway 401 and Mississauga Road. The 150,000 square foot operation will create about 200 new jobs. So welcome was the new plant that even Premier William Davis took part in the opening ceremonies.
I appreciate this opportunity to come here and participate in the official opening of this research and production facility. I think it's fair to state, Howard, that this is a little late for me. As the father of 5 children, one of the products that you produce here obviously is not going to do me any good. I was teasing my executive assistant just as I was leaving from the office, who is the father of 9 children, saying he's the one who should be here at this opening today, but he begged off. But I'm here in any event. I'm delighted as well, of course, to welcome one of your colleagues from Palo Alto, which is geographically south of San Francisco. It is a community that is well known for research, development, electronics, pharmaceuticals.
It's estimated the prescription drug industry in this country is worth about $1 billion annually in sales. That's about the same as what's spent on pantyhose. The number 6 company in pharmaceuticals is Syntex, a huge multinational with worldwide sales approaching $1 billion. They have moved out of Montreal and established their headquarters in Mississauga, spending $20 million on a new complex to house production, administration, and the first drug research facility in Canada to be set up by a company in 20 years. Dr. Alan Krantz heads the research. They have a staff of almost 20 scientists and nearly $2 million worth of sophisticated equipment. Krantz says their work is a new direction for the industry.
This is a laboratory that has as its mandate the development of drugs that are targeted for specific enzymes. And it's an outgrowth of research that was pursued over the last decade, primarily in university laboratories. And it's strategy-based rather than trying to develop a single drug type, and it's likely to have very profound implications to the way medicinal chemistry and pharmaceutical companies operate in the future.
The research involves what's called enzyme inhibitors, a drug that will stop a certain chemical reaction from taking place in the human body. There are already about 50 such drugs on the market, perhaps the best known, penicillin. Krantz says if they're successful, it will mean that any new drug combination would have about a 50-50 chance of eventually reaching the marketplace. Currently, chances of hit-and-miss combinations being successful are extremely limited, and this new approach could mean a saving in costs. Currently, a company might spend $70 million in 5 or 10 years to develop a new drug, but it remains to be seen if the consumer will benefit. Howard Jeffrey, Syntex president, also speaks of consumer benefits. Currently, a company receives no patent protection for a new drug in Canada. Anyone can manufacture it without paying royalties, and Jeffrey says that hurts the country more than the drug industry.
Long term, the consumer suffers, because in the long term, if all products were generic this way, then obviously there would be no research, and if there's no research, then the drugs we have on the market today are the drugs we'll have on the market in 50 years' time, and I don't think that's what the consumer wants.
The drug production facilities at Syntex involve a vast sterilized area where cleanliness a high priority. Stainless steel equipment dominates all, and the chemicals themselves are rarely exposed. The machines churn out tremendous numbers of pills or creams, as Syntex sells some $30 million worth of drugs in Canada. Its most popular product, naproxen, which is the second most widely prescribed drug in the country. The facility employs over 200 people, and while current economic times might not seem conducive to such new facilities, Jeffrey says the planning did begin 4 years ago, and the industry is not suffering.
The pharmaceutical industry is I would not say is in the doldrums the way the rest of the economy is at the present time. By its very nature, and it's an essential industry. And although I'm sure it's not doing as well as it would under normal times, to a great extent, the growth of our industry depends on the new drugs that are coming out of research, and we seem at the present time as an industry to be moving into a new phase of a new series of drugs after a drought of several years.
Jeffrey admits the Canadian government and the Canadian pharmaceutical industry have long been at loggerheads. The compulsory licensing issue was something that was a response to an inflexible industrial position. Now Syntex is hopeful that their peace offering of a research and production facility will be met by some sort of favorable response from government.
This video was recorded from television. Unfortunately, the sound is now lost. This was at a time when patent legislation was damaging the industry in Canada.